prison does not appear to be treating Sean Diddy Combs well. During his most recent bail appearance, observers noted a visibly thinner, more withdrawn version of the music mogul, sparking widespread concern and speculation. At the same time, reports suggest growing distance between Diddy and members of his own family, as disturbing rumors and unverified allegations continue to circulate online. While many of these claims remain unproven, the combination of his physical decline, mounting legal pressure, and fractured personal relationships paints a stark picture of a man facing the most serious crisis of his life, one that seems to be closing in from every direction.
We're waiting to get this hearing started. It was interesting, too, because this time around, Diddy was brought in first. He was brought in about a couple minutes after 2 p.m. today, and we were all kind of waiting to see. We had heard mumblings that his mom might be in courtroom, that we were waiting for the children, but then nothing happened. But then, in another twist and turn, the children do walk in, but this time it was a lot smaller bunch than it was the last time. So last time you're having all of Diddy's children, except with the exception of Love, who is just a 2-year-old child, so she wasn't at court. But you had all of Diddy's children there except Love. But this time around, you just had Justin Combs and Christian Combs, meaning that there was no Quincy there today. Delilah and Jesse weren't there. Chance wasn't there, and the caretakers of his younger children, who aren't of age just yet, they were not present inside the courtroom as well today. But his mom also wasn't in court today. So when Diddy came inside, it was still that standard issued MDC jumpsuit. He's wearing khaki. From that video of, I think that was obtained by Daily Mail back in September, of Diddy playing hacky sack in Central Park, to now he appeared just astonishingly thinner, which you can expect to be inside a federal detention center for a couple months now. A lot different from the luxury lifestyle that he was living before, but he appeared very noticeably thinner, and maybe being locked up in detention is starting to wear on him. He appeared grayer a little bit as well too, but again, he appeared just like how you would expect Diddy to appear for a hearing.
Only 2 members of Sean Diddy Combs' family were present during his bail hearing: his sons, Justin Combs and Christian Combs. The absence of the rest of the family did not go unnoticed and has fueled further speculation surrounding the case. Both Justin and Christian have been named in separate civil lawsuits that are connected to the broader allegations involving their father, raising serious questions about the scope of the controversy. Meanwhile, former music producer Lil Rod filed a lawsuit against Diddy in August, alleging sexual assault and misconduct. Within that filing, Lil Rod claims that Justin Combs was a frequent presence at Diddy's alleged private parties and accuses him of playing a role in activities that are now under intense scrutiny. While these allegations remain unproven and are being contested, the growing number of legal actions and family involvement suggests that this case may be far from reaching its peak.
There are also allegations that Diddy forced these victims to have sex with prostitutes as he touched himself. He called these situations freak-offs, and oftentimes he recorded them. Here's where some of the allegations against his son Justin Combs come in. So all this takes us back to February, when Rodney Jones, also known as the producer Lil Rod, filed civil suit against Diddy. In his lengthy lawsuit, Lil Rod straight name drops Justin Combs, describing him as someone who solicits prostitutes, underage girls, and sex workers. There's actually a picture of Justin Combs with an allegedly underage girl shown in the lawsuit. Now, in this specific instance, Lil Rod alleges at least one underage girl came to Diddy's home for a listening party. A sex worker was also apparently solicited, and a freak-off ensued. As an aside, this is the same night that Lil Rod alleges Diddy forced him to take a laced shot. He started to feel lightheaded and then woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, naked next to a sex worker. It's important to note Justin Combs is listed as a defendant on this case because, according to Lil Rod, he facilitated Diddy's alleged RICO enterprise. According to court documents, it happened on September 12, 2022, outside Diddy's Chalice Studios. Lil Rod says Diddy, his son Justin, and Justin's friend who went by G were all there when things got heated. Lil Rod says he heard multiple gunshots ring out and later found G on the bathroom floor in the fetal position. Lil Rod says he was bleeding out of his hip and leg area. Lil Rod says he was applying pressure to G's wounds and then asked the crowd to call an ambulance. At that point, both Diddy and Justin Combs disappeared to another part of the studio. Diddy then gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting. He also forced Mr. Jones to lie to the police by telling them that G was shot standing outside the studio by a drive-by assailant. So that specific allegation involves Diddy's son Justin, but another allegation and entirely separate civil lawsuit involves his other son Christian, or King Combs. Grace Omar Kay alleges that Christian Combs sexually assaulted her on a yacht in December 2022, and she says it was facilitated by Diddy.
The idea of allegedly involving one's own child in such disturbing behavior has left many people completely shaken. For years, questions have followed Sean Diddy Combs about the nature of his family relationships, and what we're seeing now may only be a glimpse of what allegedly happened behind closed doors. Some claims suggest that Diddy's behavior toward family members crossed deeply uncomfortable boundaries, fueling public outrage and disbelief. A resurfaced clip from 2020 has only intensified that reaction, showing Diddy joking in a sexually charged manner about his own mother, smoking with her, and making remarks that many viewers found disturbing before kissing her on the lips. While these moments are not evidence of criminal conduct on their own and remain allegations and public interpretation, they have added yet another shocking layer to a controversy that continues to grow darker by the day.
Yeah, my mom's gorgeous. Hold on, let me introduce you to my mom. We call Mom Dukes.
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Ma?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah,
I love you.
I love you too.
Baby.
Mom freshly dipped though.
What? What you gotta do? Show my shoes?
I was trying to show you the shoes. Yeah, my mom's is single. Mom's is single. I ain't gonna hate on my mom's. She's single. Me and my mom talked about one time doing a dating show with her. And she's so picky. She's so picky, they don't stand. But yeah, that'd be the funniest show in the world.
It will be, especially with me.
I don't even want to get started if she was doing that. We're not doing that, cause yeah, my mom's single. Yeah, for real. Mom Duke know how to have a good time. And she ain't sitting in the house playing.
Right.
They outside moving and shaking, baby.
Got that right.
She come with me to strip club. I don't care. Real. It's my dog, you know, I want to live life. We out here moving and grooving. So my mom told me, she just said, keep moving, baby.
That's right.
Keep moving. She
Don't stop.
She could touch the floor with her palms, you know? Flat. Oh! Take pew, pew, pew.
There have also been long-standing rumors within the music industry surrounding Sean Diddy Combs' relationship with his son, Quincy Combs. Quincy is the biological son of singer Al B. Sure and the late model Kim Porter, and Diddy later adopted him when Quincy was still very young. Over the years, some industry insiders have claimed that the dynamic between them felt unusual, though none of these claims have ever been proven. One of those voices is Freddie P., an artist who worked closely with Diddy early in his career and has alleged that he was later blackballed by the industry. Freddie P. has publicly stated that he always sensed something was off about the relationship, comments that have resurfaced as scrutiny around Diddy continues to intensify. While these statements remain personal opinions and allegations, they have added to the growing wave of unsettling questions now surrounding his private life.
Dang, freaky man. I look at his kids and everything. It's more deeper questions that I be wanting to know. Like, why were you so infatuated with a child that wasn't yours? Were you grooming that little boy? I don't even want to start those conversations because that's not your child. You know what I'm saying? And for you to keep him that close, it's like you kept him that close because he might got your secrets because he's not your child. So if he's not your child and you that type of person with that type of character, you don't mind actually doing it to him when he finally reaches a certain age because he's not yours. And you know in your mind he's not yours. And now you keep him real close to you. You make sure he don't go to his daddy. Why? You make sure he's separated with him and you provide him with everything he wants. Why? You got one of them little Michael Jackson secrets? he got one of them secrets that he can't tell nobody because his legacy, I mean, his manhood gonna be, and not only that, his brother no gonna look at him crazy. Only Puffy know, only God and
You talking
Puffy.
about Quincy, right?
I don't know. All I'm gonna say is, I don't know.
Albie Short, son?
All I'm gonna say is, who's infatuated with another man's son now, like that? Like you guess that seemed like groom.
Some critics now allege that the pattern of behavior surrounding Sean Diddy Combs may have extended to his sons, pointing to the growing number of lawsuits that now involve multiple members of the family. According to these claims, Diddy's influence allegedly played a role in shaping the conduct now under legal scrutiny. One recent lawsuit, filed by 26-year-old Grace O'Marque, accuses Christian Combs of groping and sexually harassing her after she was allegedly drugged at a party aboard one of Diddy's yachts. The filing further claims that Diddy was present at the event and alleges that spiked drinks were being distributed to attendees. These accusations have not been proven in court and are being contested, but they have intensified public concern and raised serious questions about what may have been happening within Diddy's inner circle.
Tasha and Steve, for the first time in his life, Sean Diddy Combs has spent a week behind bars. He's here inside MDC, where he's been since his arrest on Monday night on federal sex trafficking and other charges, to all of which he's pleaded not guilty. There's no VIP section. There is no concierge, only con men, killers, and kingpins. MDC is so bad, federal judges have questioned the harsh conditions for those here awaiting trial. So bad, I was here 2 years ago during a cold spell, reporting on detainees with no heat, pounding on windows for help. There was even a congressional inquiry. But take the word of a former inmate I spoke with who goes by Esco.
It's terrible. The food is terrible. Of course, the inmates are terrible. The guards are terrible. The conditions are terrible. It's just terrible.
The inmates that you're surrounded around, just in general, a lot of them are brought up on pretty heavy federal indictments, right? So just in terms of the atmosphere there, it's just certainly one that no one wants to be in.
Combs was placed in a special housing unit and on suicide watch, the standard protocol for high-profile celebrity detainees. The disgraced mogul was denied bail by 2 separate judges. His attorney, Mark Agnifilo, asked the court to transfer him to the federal detention section at the Essex County Jail, but the judge deferred to the Bureau of Prisons. Federal trial attorney Philip Hamilton says lockdown can mean a lot less time to prepare your defense.
In terms of fighting their case, it just makes it all the more difficult, because now in terms of you being able to communicate with your attorney, you are at the realms of just what's going on with respect to the facility. Is it on lockdown? Is the facility letting visitors in?
Detainees on suicide watch wear tearaway paper hospital-style garments and rubber shower shoes. The isolation may be the worst part for Combs. It's being done for his protection in the violence-prone facility. He will have no bunkie.
He's probably not going to have any contact with any other inmates. So for him, it's going to be a little different than for a person like me, where I will go in, I will go through process and intake, and then they'll assign me a cell, and I'll have a bunkie or a cellmate, and I'll be in population.
For him to be able to get out at this point, it just doesn't look good.
By multiple accounts, Sean Diddy Combs is reportedly struggling to adjust to life behind bars. Sources familiar with the situation claim that the conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Center are harsh, overcrowded, and far removed from anything he has ever experienced. There have even been claims that Diddy was seen emotionally breaking down at one point, underscoring just how difficult the transition has been. MDC has a well-documented history of violence and unrest, and insiders say that his global celebrity status only makes him more vulnerable inside the facility. While none of these reports have been officially confirmed, the picture being painted is that prison life has been a severe shock, one that he may be finding increasingly hard to endure.
Hell on earth. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn is notorious for its appalling living conditions and rampant violence. How bad is it inside this federal lockup? There have been 2 murders, 4 suicides, and numerous stabbings and lockdowns in recent years. It's so out of control inside that 4 federal judges are reportedly refusing to send any more prisoners here. Donald Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, spent a harrowing year in federal custody. He says for someone used to a life of luxury like Diddy, prison life is a severe shock.
You have a desk, you have a plastic chair, you have your bed with a 1.5-inch mattress, no pillow, and you also have a locker. So you basically have 3 feet by 5 feet to move around. So you have a basic 15 square feet. It is a horrible, horrible place.
Diddy's lawyers were so eager to keep him out of jail, they offered his palatial $48 million home in Miami Beach and his private jets as bail. Today, they are even offering to restrict female visitors to his homes, except for his mother, daughters, and the mothers of his children if he is released. They told the judge the jail he was being sent to is dreadful, dirty, inhuman, and an ongoing tragedy.
How's your dad doing? How's your dad doing?
Family members appeared somber as they arrived at federal court in Manhattan today in another attempt to get out on bail. The judge cited Diddy's history of violent temper and potential intimidation of witnesses as reasons for keeping him behind bars. Diddy's former protege, singer Aubrey O'Day, is celebrating Diddy's downfall today. I feel validated, a win for women all over the world.
Combs has pled not guilty. Those were the only words he uttered in court yet.
Additional details have reportedly surfaced about Sean Diddy Combs' daily routine while in custody. According to unverified accounts, Diddy is being housed in protective custody rather than the general population, a move often reserved for high-profile or high-risk inmates. These reports claim he is currently not permitted to mix with the general inmate population and instead spends up to 23 hours a day under constant supervision. While officials have not publicly confirmed these specifics, the alleged restrictions suggest serious security concerns and further highlight just how isolating and controlled his current situation may be.
Foreseeable time behind bars look like. He reportedly only gets 1 hour daily of recreation and 3 showers a week. He's served breakfast, lunch, and dinner that is delivered to his cell. But instead of extravagant meals he was once accustomed to, he can expect foods like egg noodles, cereal, chili, peas, and if needed, there are reportedly vegetarian options as well. But if those foods don't work, MDC Brooklyn's commissary list has a list of additional foods and snack items, including a 6-pack of Hershey bars for $7.05, peanut butter for a little more than $3, stuffed chicken with rice for $5.75, plus more options. Diddy was once a staple at New York's biggest fashion event of the year, the Met Gala, and a frequenter of fashion weeks across the globe. Now will be forced to wear clothes not from haute couture, but instead a switch up to essentially sweats. For extra clothes, he can purchase a sweatshirt for a little more than $16, New Balance sneakers for about $55, boxer briefs for a little more than $6, plus a bath towel and washcloth set for about $12. And while confined to a cell for 23 hours a day, which is a huge difference from throwing now infamous parties, to pass the time, Diddy can purchase an MP3 player for a little under $90. But according to reports, he has a spending limit of $160, a huge downgrade from the millions he was seemingly spending prior to his arrest.
Former inmate Harvey Levin has warned that Sean Diddy Combs' celebrity status and the nature of the allegations against him could make his incarceration especially dangerous. According to Levin, high-profile inmates can become targets inside prison, particularly among long-term offenders who have little to lose and may see notoriety as a form of leverage or reputation. Adding to the concern, there have been unverified reports suggesting that individuals who allegedly feared exposure or blackmail may now view Diddy as a liability. While none of these claims have been substantiated, they have fueled anxiety around his safety, especially given the facility's history and its association with other high-profile cases that ended under troubling circumstances.
So breaking news right now, Larry, I am just getting word. People magazine says it's got a source on the inside that tells them that P. Diddy's on suicide watch tonight. Do your sources confer the same information? Are they saying it was possible?
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the shoe have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on suicide watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there, he was like an overnight guest. When they told his bond hearing, now they checked him into the system, and reality has hit him. And I understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on suicide watch. Another error that I guess some warden told you this. There are sentenced inmates there. They're called cadre inmates. They don't have to be white collar inmates, but they're doing maintenance on the building. And the problem why there's a lot of violence there, they have housing units. And they're mixing bank robbers, drug dealers, rapists with white collar people. And this is why Diddy, he can't go into a regular housing unit because somebody will take him out for sure. Somebody's gonna get a lot of street credibility out of this. People that are doing substantial time that know they're never getting out, they'll just kill a guy. No questions asked.
You think that they'd suck up to him because he's got a lot of money, and if he ever does get the commissary options, he would be able to help them.
Some people do because
I got to wrap it real quick.
Okay, some people do think that Diddy can help them, but this guy's going to be locked up forever. His case will probably take at least 3 years to litigate. He'll stay at MDC. There's rumors that he wants to go to Essex County Jail in New Jersey because he doesn't like MDC. He's a Marshals inmate. There's no way they're going to transfer him back and forth, I don't know, several times a week, 6 Marshals to do it. He's out of luck.
Reports have also begun circulating about Sean Diddy Combs' alleged mental state while in custody. According to an unverified source connected to the Metropolitan Detention Center, Diddy was reportedly seen emotionally distressed and asking to be released, a moment that has fueled further speculation about how he is coping behind bars. While these claims have not been officially confirmed, they add to a growing narrative that the psychological toll of incarceration, combined with intense public scrutiny and legal pressure, may be weighing heavily on him as his situation continues to unfold.
According to a report from the Daily Mail, that's why Diddy had a breakdown. A person close to him apparently said, quote, spending the holidays behind bars was a nightmare for him. If we're to believe all this, Diddy had a meltdown in his cell and begged the guards to take him to the hospital for observation, but they refused. This same friend or person told the Daily Mail, quote, he eventually managed to calm himself down with the meditation technique he's been using while he's been behind bars. It took him a few hours of deep breathing and focusing to get out of the bad space he was in, but he finally managed it. This isn't the first time Diddy's mental health has come into question while he's been at MDC. When he first arrived, he was on suicide watch, which the U.S. Department of Justice National Institute of Corrections describes as supervisory precautions taken for suicidal inmates that require frequent observation. Diddy's suicide watch was only temporary, though. He was housed in a special protective unit of the jail after that for the first few weeks of his stay. But Diddy right now is in Gen Pop, meaning general population, the place where majority of the inmates stay. And that's where he apparently had this melt.
With the mounting pressure surrounding Sean Diddy Combs and his reported reaction to incarceration, it's understandable why his legal team is said to be increasingly concerned. Sources close to the situation have claimed that Diddy is struggling to cope with prison life and is emotionally unprepared for the realities of confinement. These concerns reportedly led to heightened monitoring when he first arrived at the Metropolitan Detention Center, a precaution officials sometimes take when an inmate shows signs of severe distress. Unlike hardened offenders, Diddy has lived most of his life surrounded by security and insulation, and the sudden loss of that protection has reportedly taken a heavy psychological toll. While none of these claims have been officially confirmed, they underscore the intense strain he is allegedly facing as legal pressure, isolation, and fear converge all at once.
It makes sense, but you knowing Diddy personally, do you think it's possible he might take his life?
It takes a certain individual to prepare himself to do a lot of years in jail. From the lifestyle that he had, I'm not saying that he can't. I just don't see him able to do time behind bars. Maybe if he'd be in a camp type situation, that's a possibility. But based on the lifestyle and what he's done and what he's accomplished, if he had to go behind those bars for a lot of years, I think that he may commit suicide. He do an Epstein.
Why you think he would pull a Russell Simmons and lead the country?
They was watching him, bruh. They was watching him. And then I think that he had to turn over his passport. Even if you own your own private jet, they have a system up there whereas that they supposed to check your passport and anything that you need to fly as if you were flying commercial. He's suffering the consequence and I don't feel bad for him at all. Because people was trying to talk to him. People was trying to tell him. You couldn't pull him by the coat and let him know anything. You understand? They messed up the game, brother. When he put that shit out with them, money, power, respect, it ain't never been like that. It ain't never been like that. You got your respect in the street that gave you your power, that brought you your money. Totally different thing. He let that money, power, and respect go to his head, but he had it ass backwards. So do I care what happened? Nah. He got enough money to buy his way out of this. So we think.
So when you look at that video of him pacing around and he's looking worried, and you knowing him, do you think it's possible that he might commit suicide?
When you're a narcissist, there's always a possibility because you're suffering. But I don't think that he can see himself in a cage. I don't think he can see himself behind those bars in those type of situations. It's too many real dudes that dislike him. But then again, there's a lot of real dudes that need help. And him being behind bars, he could probably help him.
Sean Diddy Combs' legal team has now applied for bail on 3 separate occasions, each time proposing increasingly strict conditions in an effort to secure his release. According to reports, these measures included intense supervision and limitations designed to address the court's concerns. Despite those efforts, Judge Arun Subramanian has denied bail each time, signaling that the court remains unconvinced that release would be appropriate under the current circumstances. The repeated denials underscore the seriousness with which the case is being treated and suggest that the judge believes the risks still outweigh any assurances offered by the defense.
Not a fair outcome.
What he did here is on a magnitude of unlike anybody else you could imagine. A week after those public searches were televised, he gave us his passport. His children gave us his passport. He then paid off the mortgage entirely on his Miami home. $18 million. It's instructive that he's going to have a bail package ready so that if he was arrested, he would have something ready so that he could get out the next day and show the judge he's taking this very seriously, which he is, which is why 12 days ago, Chris, when we thought there's an indictment that may be coming, he flew to New York the very next day. And that's an extraordinary move for a defendant who's been under investigation that he's been aware of for at least 6 months. He has done everything somebody under investigation can do. I can't think of anything else that he could have done. He's fighting, he's innocent, and he's gonna be able to show it.
What do you think about that counter argument? Because his team has said we're going to put together the proposed bail package, a $50 million bond, co-signed by him, his mom, his sister, the mother of his oldest daughter, and his 3 adult sons. It's going to be secured by the equity in his property in Miami, Florida. Home detention, his passport will be surrendered. The government said that's insufficient. They said, look at the charges, look at the weight of the evidence that I just mentioned. They said they have allegations that he and his associates were trying to tamper with witness testimony last year so that they wouldn't cooperate with the government. What do you take away about who has the stronger argument in terms of bail?
Well, I think his counsel has done the best they possibly can. I think bringing him there voluntarily is very smart, starts them out on the right foot. But I think the last thing that you just mentioned, the interfering with witnesses.
That's the allegation, yeah.
Yeah, if that's true, or I should say, if there's real indicia that happened, I think that might tip the scales in favor of not letting him out pending trial, because I think, and you know this, I think judges take an extraordinarily dim view of that. And that might be the factor that tips the scale against him. But I think as far as...
At this point, the chances of Sean Diddy Combs securing bail appear lower than ever, with reports suggesting he is likely to remain behind bars at least until May 2025. This shift comes as his legal team has now acknowledged the existence of the so-called freak-off tapes, a development that has significantly raised the stakes in the case. According to Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, footage submitted by one of the alleged victims depicts what the defense claims was consensual activity and is being cited as evidence of Diddy's innocence. Prosecutors, however, are expected to challenge that interpretation, and the court has yet to accept the defense's position. As the legal battle intensifies, the existence of these recordings has become a central and highly contested piece of the case.
In their letter, they write, quote, "Having reviewed these videos, it is now abundantly clear that they confirm Mr. Combs' innocence and that their full exculpatory value cannot be investigated and used unless they are electronically produced. The 9 videos at issue are the so-called freak-off tapes with victim 1 that the government has repeatedly referenced, causing wild speculation in the media. Contrary to what the government has led this court and the public to believe, the so-called freak-offs were private sexual activity between fully consenting adults in a long-term relationship. Like many Americans in the privacy of their own bedrooms, they sometimes film their sexual activity. These videos unambiguously show that the person alleged in the indictment to be victim 1 not only consented, but thoroughly enjoyed herself." And we believe, by the way, victim 1 to be Cassandra Ventura. This is Diddy's ex, who first filed that initial sexual assault lawsuit against Combs back in 2023. She was in that infamous surveillance footage that was published by CNN of an incident that happened in a hotel hallway where Combs is beating Ventura just while wearing a towel. It's a very disturbing video. He argues the videos don't show any orgies or celebrities or violence or coercion or threats or manipulation or evidence of anyone being under the influence of drugs, that this is not sex trafficking. Quote, "The premise that freak-offs are inherently dangerous shows that the government seeks to police non-conforming sexual activity and that it assumes, despite all evidence to the contrary, that a woman's willing participation must have been coerced." That's interesting because that's something we've long suspected, that the defense is not going to shy away from the term freak-offs. They might accept, yeah, Combs called these freak-offs, but this was entirely consensual. It was all on the up and up. It might be different to you and me, but there's nothing illegal going on here.
If they're really If the government is the government in the Southern District of New York, I can't imagine this is what they're hanging their hat on if it's what the defense describes. It's like one of those things that when you have a weakness in a case, the government has to decide how they're going to use that. My guess is they're going to use it to show that there were sex workers, that these sex workers were paid. I would imagine that they have the sex workers that are in the video to come in and describe what was going on or what happened before they went on tape, whether or not they had drugs or alcohol or anything else, whether or not Cassie had drugs or alcohol, whether or not there was a discussion between Sean Combs and Cassie before the tape started. So
Right.
I think that the tape is going to be one portion of it, but the testimony of either the sex workers that were in the video and or Cassie is going to kind of tie it together. That's my guess.
And Diddy Combs' dramatic fall from grace continues to shock the world as increasingly disturbing details emerge about his life behind bars and the growing legal turmoil surrounding his family. From mounting lawsuits to reports of his struggles in custody, it appears that years of controversy are now catching up with him in ways few could have imagined. As investigators dig deeper and more voices come forward, the picture surrounding Diddy's past grows darker and more complex by the day. The question now is whether these revelations mark the end of the story, or just the beginning. What do you think about everything coming to light, and could there be even more secrets still waiting to surface? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.